Welcome to part 3, day 3 of my SiFly experience and review. As with all of my videos, please check for a pinned comment for any additions, changes, and important information added to the video after its production. As you can see, we have changed locations to a more southern part of Tampa, Florida at Madeira Beach, invited by eWatersports to eFoil near Johns Pass Sandbar. If you're in this area, definitely check out eWatersports for all things eFoil related. And this video is going to be focusing on those two boards just shown, the Stellar Series, specifically the Stellar S and the Stellar X. Notice how easy it was for me to start out and get flying on the Stellar S, even from a standstill while in kneeling position. And honestly, despite being almost 25 liters smaller in volume, I found the Stellar X to be nearly just as easy to start flying on. Even SiFly's currently most advanced board lends to the brand slogan of the easiest way to start flying. As mentioned in previous parts of this video series, this ease of use to start flying is because of the overall shape of every SiFly board to maximize buoyancy and resist nosedives. Should a nosedive occur, Bluetooth signal is strong and will not easily lose connection with minimal water submersion. And as mentioned in part 2, the shape of the handheld remote doubles as a movable handle so the rider can continue to use that hand for stability on the deck. In addition to these things, SiFly has an impressively lightweight but high energy capacity battery. The battery is powerful enough to satisfy a spectrum of uses, but light enough to maintain buoyancy and the ease of takeoff, and low impact to handling while flying. Ahead of me is Andrew from the Freshly Charged channel on YouTube. If you haven't already checked out his experience on the SiFly gear, definitely do that too and compare. He was the first one to ride the Stellar X on this day, but it was his first time on the dual ride wing in sport mode. And at first he thought it was a bit too loose for his taste, but after we swapped the two boards that we were riding, he admitted that he was beginning to miss that loose and playful feel of the sport mode of the dual ride wing. And I must admit that at times I found it a little challenging to keep up with Andrew. On this day at least, I would describe Andrew's style as someone who puts some emphasis into speed, whereas I'm usually not into speed unless I'm in the act of a more aggressive carve. Speaking of aggressive carving, in this part of the video I'm conducting what I call my pressure test. I also do this just for fun, letting my feet drag on the water, kicking and screaming, creating a lot of speed and pressure and carving to see just how much an eFoil can handle, and also to see if there's any potential reproducible issues in regards to pressure and resistance in riding in such a manner. Something like the cavitational sound and feeling that I got only once during this entire experience and only on the Stellar S with the quick mount mass system. It could have been simply a fluke from the turbulence of my feet dragging on the water, which I have experienced with just about every brand at least once while doing this type of riding, or something reproducible that I could potentially diagnose with more time, which I did not have.
Oh, I don't like the extra drag.
Also, because of limited time in Florida, I was not able to conduct a designated extended efficiency range test as I have done on other eFoil gear and other videos. But I can say that we used the battery nearly to its fullest on the Stellar X. Now, there are many factors that can influence the range of an eFoil. Even just the wing alone can have a dramatic impact on range. So discussing range is kind of a difficult topic on eFoils more than any other EV or PEV. Considering the average weight between Andrew and myself at about 88 kilograms or 195 pounds, the size and shape of the wing, again that was the dual ride wing, 1,000 centimeters squared, and the speeds and occasional crashing and the pressure test, the near 7 miles of total range between us seems to be within my expectations of range. Nevertheless, I feel like range could be improved even more, with potentially maybe some changes in hydrodynamics and shape to the prop cone, and maybe the prop itself. Now let's compare some numbers and stats, and we're going to be looking at Flightboard, SiFly, eFoils, and Waydo. I would say there's more comparisons between Waydo and Flightboard to SiFly than there is to eFoils, but because eFoils is a common and popular brand, we're going to compare them as well. We will be comparing quality, battery energy capacity, total weight, and price. These 4 points in particular stood out to me, and I believe a significant number of viewers can relate to these aspects as well. There are, of course, far more points than just these 4 to compare when looking at eFoils. These and most aspects are subjective and will be prioritized differently depending on each person and their circumstances. At the end of this video, I'll include a link to a guide including over 25 points to consider when choosing the best eFoil for yourself. To make things as fair as possible, I have selected comparable performance eFoils from these 4 brands. All decks are close to 75 liters in size, and all have carbon fiber exteriors. Each eFoil is configured with similar options including a high capacity battery, a faster battery charger if available, and here is a quick screenshot of the current respective estimated fastest charge times for each. SiFly, however, is the only brand in this comparison that does not have gear bags included in the price. Be sure to add about $500 to the price if you expect to purchase bags from SiFly or from elsewhere such as eFoil Solutions. Each eFoil is equipped with masts of nearly identical length measured at about 32 inches or 80 to 81 centimeters. I'd also like to remind viewers, as shown in part 1, although SiFly describes their mast length as 75 centimeters, it actually measures the same as flight, Waydo, and lift mast options of 32 inches from bottom of the board to the bottom of the fuselage of the motor, or wing in the case of lift. Although Waydo has a lower price, the weight of the battery is significantly higher. The battery is the heaviest component of an eFoil. When you're elevated and flying more than 2 feet above the water, any additional weight can potentially make carving and surfing more challenging. If we upgrade the Stellar X with the quick mount mast system to be more comparable to the convenience of the Lift Connect system, the price of the SiFly goes up by $1,000 and the weight increased by about 4 pounds. SiFly premium composite boards are made in the same factory as flightboard decks. You can expect the same quality at a much lower price. While on topic of flightboard, I'd like to point out that the standard 3-bolt flight wings are said to be compatible with SiFly, which would dramatically increase the options to customize the SiFly eFoil. Speaking of wings, I'll leave you with my favorite SiFly wing, the Dual Ride Wing 1000. Though it is heavier, it has lots of utility and growth at an incredibly low price. So this is the SiFly Dual Ride Wing, and dual meaning that it has 2 ways to ride this wing. It's 2 wings in one. And so on the bottom here you'll see that it says comfort mode, and this is with the wing tips down, which will have better stability, better tracking, whereas on the opposite side we have the dual ride sport mode, and it's a nice 1000 size, and in order to flip it you simply take off the hardware in the middle. It comes in 2 pieces, and you swap it to the opposite side, and there's some locking pieces like this lip here. So this is the pieces here, locks into here and also into each of the bolt holes. And then you can proceed to mount it again into the sport position. And so in this position with the wingtips up, it has more of a rocker, almost like a rocking chair. So it's gonna be more loose, more sporty, versus having the wingtips down where it does not have that overall appearance or rocker shape like a rocking chair. So that's kind of one way I like to look at it anyway, is you have that looseness of a rocking chair versus having the teeth biting down and maintain that stability. Wow. Love the upturn tips. Super, just much more forgiving for wingtip breaches. They're not fighting when you come back down. They just rock themselves back into the water. So wingtip breaches are just much more easier to control. Yes, it's a looser ride, but that adds to the fun of the sharper turns and saluting your wingtips. Well, I've tried multiple setups, multiple boards, and this, for me, is my most favorite setup. The dual wing in sport mode and the smaller, surfier tail on the X. Loving it. Full lotus position.
Full lotus?
I got a full lotus position.
There you go.
Stay cross-legged, legs up.
That's crazy.
Although in sport mode the wing is quite loose and playful, the aluminum midsection and the weight of the wing provide enough stability for me to do some yoga too.
Oh yeah, there's the dolphin. Full lotus and the dolphin in the background. Do you see it?
I believe adventure and magic can be had on any eFoil, as I, Andrew from Freshly Charged, and my friend Tim from Adventure Elevated all experienced in Florida on the SiFly gear. If you don't already have a preferred eFoil dealer, check out adventureelevated.com, and it's not yet reflected on the website, but they can also help order in some SiFly gear too.